Congratulations, Sandhills Community College, especially those of you in the College and Career Readiness Program class of 2020. My name is Dr. Karen Sullivan. I am a resident of Pinehurst. I am a board-certified neuropsychologist, one of 35 in the state of North Carolina, and I am a very proud GED recipient. My winding journey as a non-traditional student makes me know firsthand how truly important this accomplishment is today. We are not meeting at your graduation ceremony as I had planned. Unfortunately, there are forces beyond our control that make that so. So I'm sorry you'll be missing out on your cap and gown, listening to college officials and your professors beam with pride in their speeches, and the names of your peers called out as you walk across that stage. And that stinks. But the truth is that the real experience of graduation is how it changes how you see yourself and your potential. So what would truly be a loss today is to deny yourself the personal growth that might have been born sitting in that chair, reflecting on how far you've come. So I really invite you to make this a day of transformation, whether or not you're sitting out there in the sun waiting to get your certificate or watching this at home in your living room. I know that you have had invaluable cheerleaders and supporters that have rooted you on, given you precious opportunity, told you what you needed to know but had no idea you didn't know. It is really important that you look those people in the eye and tell them in your most sincere voice that you are truly thankful because you couldn't have done it without them. But it's also true that there's really only one person who knows how hard it was to get here today, and that person is you. The hard work that it took to fit this in probably an already very full life, the hard work to learn how to write papers, the hard work of studying for tests when you maybe hadn't done that in a while, or maybe just the hard work to make the time to find the support to get around you in order to put into this accomplishment. My sincere wish is that you all understand that with this GED, you have earned yourself a very special ticket, a golden ticket. This is the ticket of freedom and opportunity. And what's so beautiful about this ticket is it's non-refundable, non-losable, non-returnable. No one can ever take it from you. Part of you that I especially hope is transformed today as you go through the ritual of getting your GED is that you leave behind any negative thoughts about having done this journey differently so far. These thoughts for non-traditional students can creep in, intimidate us, worst of all, become self-imposed limitations that rob us of fulfilling our true potential and realizing our true unique gifts that we can bring to the world. So I encourage you to embrace the fact that your path to formal education has been unique. I want you to see it as an asset, as a positive, something to be admired, something that makes you stand out in a good way. The beautiful thing about education, as I said a moment ago, is that you've earned it and that no one can ever take it away from you. I want to briefly share my journey with you and hope that one day you'll have a very similar story to share with other people who are just starting their formal education process. So I was a 15-year-old high school dropout when I got my GED, failing the math subtest not once, not twice, but 3 times. I worked as a caregiver for people with dementia from that age until I was about 21 and decided that I should probably take my interest in human services to the next level. After interviewing with a college about their art therapy program and pretty much being laughed out of the room because I had no high school transcript, I had no SAT scores, I took their recommendation to start at a community college, Massachusetts Bay Community College. I was a very green student. My grammar was terrible. My basic math skills were embarrassing. It was very awkward for me to return to the classroom setting. Even at the age of 21, I felt old compared to most people. Everyone seemed so much younger than me. I would get split grades on my papers. I would get 100 for idea and content and literally failing grades for things like punctuation. In my first semester at community college, I took 3 classes: Intro to Psychology, Intro to Sociology, and Cultural Anthropology. As I started learning about the brain, I was able to link up what I knew from my patients and my caregiving days with the science of how human beings adapt and can even thrive in the face of neurological challenges. With every class, I felt more and more clarity about my path and what I was meant to do with my life. And maybe most important, looking back, I earned confidence that I could actually pull it off. 2 of my classes at Mass Bay Community College were taught by the same professor, Dr. Marcella Mazzarelli, who seemed to see some kind of potential in me and challenged me to rise up to my abilities and my passion for helping people, specifically people with brain health issues. Slowly and surely, she tough-loved me into believing in myself as a learner and someone who had a unique voice with something very valuable to contribute. And at the end of my 3rd semester, she gave me a brochure to Clark University, which has a very special place in the history of psychology, and told me that I was going to transfer here and that maybe even I would get a full scholarship. What was even more outstanding than the idea of a full scholarship was her belief in me, that I was just beginning my education journey and that I would keep going until I became a doctor and earned my PhD. This idea was very overwhelming to me, but I trusted her and knew that she was not the type to say something that she didn't mean. We worked on the application together, and the letter of recommendation that she wrote me continues to be one of my most prized possessions. A few months later, one of the very best days of my life happened, and that was when I got my letter and my full scholarship to Clark University. I graduated with my bachelor's degree 6 years after I started at community college at the age of 27. I then worked for 3 more years at a hospital in Boston in the behavioral neurology department with one focus. My focus was to get into the Boston University doctoral program for clinical psychology. At this time, I had learned what a neuropsychologist was, and it seemed like the perfect match for my desire to help people and my desire academically to learn more about this amazing organ of the brain. But things did not go in a traditional way for me yet again. I had to delay my plans of applying by more than a year to get a competitive score on something called the GRE, another hurdle, another roadblock. This is a test you need to take to get into graduate school. For an entire year, I met with a 17-year-old tutor at a local ice cream shop in my town. Every Tuesday night for a year, me and a 17-year-old, teaching me basic math. I also took 2 adult education programs. I wound up taking my GREs twice because the first time I didn't do that great. The second time I had to drive in a snowstorm going over 4 hours round trip in pretty scary conditions. On that second time, my score was just good enough to apply. And yet again, through the support of mentors, people who saw potential in me, just like people are starting to see potential in you, my hard work, the glory of God. Another very momentous day happened to me when the scientist that I wanted to work so badly with at Boston University called me and said that out of 710 applicants that year, I was accepted into a class of 10. She wanted me because of my unique path, my unique perspective that I brought to the program, the dedication and the hard work that I had shown, that I wasn't handed my education on a silver platter. So at the age of 31, I got my master's degree, and at the age of 37, I got my PhD in clinical psychology. At 39, I graduated from my fellowship program at Harvard Medical School. 2 years later, I became a board-certified neuropsychologist, which remains my proudest accomplishment, and opened up my practice here in Pinehurst at the age of 41. So looking back and reflecting on my path, I want you to know that the first steps were honestly the hardest. The first time that I walked into that GED office took a lot of courage. To go back after I failed my math exam was hard. To stand up in my community college and to share my ideas with other people when I wasn't used to doing that was difficult. To make my first college presentations with my voice cracking and my sweaty hands, those were honestly harder days for me than getting my PhD. And besides experience, which is the best teacher of all, the main reason that things became easier for me was that I felt more and more confident. Please keep going in your education journey. And remember that it's a cool thing, it's a good thing, it's an awesome thing that you have chosen the road less traveled. Just because you did this in a unique way doesn't mean that you're any different or any lesser than other people who choose more traditional paths. I want you to embrace your non-traditional status. This simply means you're going to go on to do non-traditional things. I bet you have heard this Robert Frost quote before. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled. And that has made all the difference. I want you to remember those words and take that to heart. I think that is the quote of us GED recipients. What you might have seen before as something that made you different in a bad way, that you didn't have a formal education, you didn't have a high school degree, that ends today. That ends right now. By working so hard to get this reward, you have shown a commitment to some of the most important values of life. And again, no one can ever take that from you. You are a person who takes responsibility for your future. You are a person that says, there is something I don't want and I'm willing to put in the hard, systematic effort to get it. Instead of complaining, instead of being jealous about what you didn't have, you put in the hard work. You know that anything worth having, any reward, does not come freely, and it requires individual effort. You are leaving your GED program today with all of these life skills. So please keep going. Don't let this be the end of the line. My deepest congratulations go out to you on this achievement. And just like your wonderful families, your friends, your mentors, the good Lord, I'm going to be back here cheering you on. So you have to get out there, make us proud, make the unique contribution that only someone with your unique life experience can make. I truly believe in you. So get out there and get to work. We need you out here. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Jill Lightshoe and I'm one of the instructors on main campus. Today I have the privilege of presenting the Sam C. Petty and Hazel C. Petty GED Scholarship that was established in 2011 by Mrs. Frederica Prevost to honor the lives and memory of her mother, Hazel Petty, who passed away in 2011. Hazel earned her GED at Sandhills, and her brother also earned his GED, and they both continued on to a community college and completed a program. Mrs. Prevost wanted to use a portion of her mother's estate to create a modest scholarship to honor her mother and her brother. This scholarship celebrates a student's achievement, which is a gateway to new beginnings and a path to a better life. The student that will be receiving this today joined us in October of 2018. He worked a full-time job and helped to raise a family with his wife, all while attending night classes. This student has great determination and a strong work ethic. It was not unusual for him to come to class up to his elbows in grease, but he always had a positive attitude and a smile to everyone that he met. He celebrated his friends' successes and encouraged them during any setbacks. Even when he was close to being finished, he would lend a helping hand to his fellow classmates and take the time getting them to understand a concept that he had already moved on from. He genuinely cares about helping others. He is a conscientious student that is truly interested in learning new things. He completed his program in December of 2019 and was so excited to get to share that success with his wife and family. I cannot think of a more deserving student than Travis Holder to receive this scholarship. He plans on attending a welding program at a community college. He is an awesome individual, and I consider it a privilege to have gotten to know him.
It is my privilege to present one of Sand Hills Community College rising stars. Her student life is a true reflection of a student's success. When she first entered the classroom, you witnessed her focus, self-determination, and strong work ethics. Just being in her presence, you sense the appreciation and respect for the educational environment. Her time management skills assisted her in excelling in her studies and accomplishing her goal of receiving her GED. I proudly present the Hope County Scholarship recipient, Alita McQuest.